Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I'm David Byrd with Reality Reimagined. I'm an award-winning photographer and Photoshop artist that specializes in fantasy composite art. Today begins a new adventure on the channel, and that adventure is Photoshop speed art. Similar to the shop vlog, I will take you on a full adventure of creating a piece of artwork in Photoshop. However, given the namesake, we'll be moving quickly through that process. With each video, I will be narrating the entire process of what you are seeing so you can identify the creative steps as we create. But I want to take this content one step further. At the top of each video, I will identify a teaching moment or two to look for throughout the adventure. When we reach those teaching moments in the speed art, I will slow the footage down to normal speed and fully guide you through what that process or technique is, its impact, and how you can apply it to your work in the future. So let's begin the journey today with a piece of fantasy fashion artwork. Here is our raw image and the artwork that we will create by the end of today's episode of Photoshop Speed Art. As you can see, we have some work to do to add to the background and to apply a basic yet powerful set of tools in Photoshop to achieve realistic composite results. Let's dive into Photoshop and begin the speed art adventure. We begin by processing a raw file in Adobe Camera Raw, paying attention to the three fundamentals of Photoshop, which is color, luminosity, and detail. In the Basic tab, I'm addressing all of those different issues of light to either accentuate the lighting pattern or to overcome some of the challenges that was created by it. Moving into the color mixer, color is a wonderful way to not only increase the amount of color that we see in the scene, but to increase the overall light value of those specific colors so that we can add to the overall effect. Now I'm opening the image into Photoshop as a smart object, and I'm going to be making three different smart objects as practical passes of this image. Each one of these smart objects will address color values and light values so that I can bring them all together using layer masks for a cohesive artistic whole. All three practical passes are complete, and now it's time to utilize those layer masks to bring in those different effects for color and light to create a beautiful, stunning image to start with. Now it's time to overcome the issues of the background and how wide this composition was. The background itself obviously does not fit the entire composition, so I'm using content-aware fill and the new dialog created in Photoshop a few iterations ago to give you complete control over what you're copying and what the AI is using as content to fill into this section. Now I'm slowing the footage down because we're at our teaching moments. First, the content-aware fill dialog. It's an incredibly powerful tool. Anything in green is what the AI is sampling to fill in the selection that we made with the marquee tool. Once that's been done, it's been output to its own layer so that I can collapse it down or use those different layers and layer masks to overcome any issues. This piece of stock from Adobe Stock, the file number is at the bottom of the screen. This is the same particle pattern that went into the design of the background that you see in the original image. That background was designed by myself as one of 6 that are available through Intuition Backgrounds. There's a link to their website in the description below. I'm using these particles to essentially unify the entire piece. The two sections made by the AI are good, but they are missing some of those particles that are in the background itself. So using these, I can mask and cover up those two sections. Now I'm going to use a very powerful tool in Photoshop called Blend If. And all I'm doing is telling Photoshop to take the black point in this particle overlay and remove it wherever we see gray. So we start to remove some of the orange tones that we see into the scene, but we have the particles still into play. Now I'm going to use the quick selection option to select subject so that I can make a quick mask of the subject Astrid so that I can remove some of the particles. Then I'm bringing them back very carefully by painting a little bit over the mask. However, I don't like how this looks because it's covering up the dress, and I want to preserve the dress and all the other pieces that we see in this design. So I went a few steps back on my history. I'm removing that extra painting of the particle pattern and making sure that it's clean and off the entire subject everywhere we see her. Now we're stepping into the full retouch using frequency separation, dodging and burning, and layers to enhance the eyes. This is my retouch 4.0 action. You can download this action for free and see different videos on its use and full guides for frequency separation and retouching by looking at the card above. Let's give a call out to the amazing artists that you see in this image. There are links in the description below to all of these artists. First, the wonderful talent in the scene, Astrid. The dress that she's wearing is by Dawnamatrix Designs. The feather shoulder harness that she is wearing is by Videnoir Designs. And the mask is by the Gothic Venetian. Links in the description below to all of these artists. Dodging and burning is one of the oldest techniques to photo editing of any type in any genre and period of time, and it still holds true to today. It's one of my favorite steps to do in any piece that I create. It has such powerful impact to be able to sculpt the three-dimensionality of the image and to accentuate it to truly make a wonderful piece of art. Now with the retouch complete, it's time to complete the color grade and the final artistic enhancement using the Reimagined plugin, an art tool for Photoshop, link in the description below. That concludes our first Photoshop speed art adventure. I hope you enjoyed this entire process. I do want to remind you to take a look at the description below for all the various elements that went into this piece, both the model's link to Instagram, the background she's standing in front of, some of the clothing that she was wearing, and of course the important elements of what the cameras were set at and all that kind of stuff. If you like the content you found in this video today, please give the video a like and consider subscribing to the channel because new content debuts each week in photography and Photoshop education. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell icon so you're notified of that new content when you return to the YouTubes. Thanks so much for watching today, and until next time, I'll see you out there in the world of Photoshop.